Good morning, dear students. I welcome you all back to the History and Political Science lecture. And till our last lecture, we were discussing about history and Indian arts. In this, we have discussed about the visual art, which mainly included sculpting, painting, and different styles of architecture and monuments. Now, we have already seen or we have already discussed that when we were ruled by different rulers, those styles or their styles were incorporated in our culture. As far as visual arts is concerned, like monuments, we can see a glimpse of the Mughal architecture or Mughal painting style or Mughal sculpting style when we were ruled by the Mughals. Similarly, we can also see the styles of Britishers or the style of Arabians or Persian style when we were ruled, and there were people coming from these countries to our country for either trading or when we were ruled by these peoples. So we have seen that the Indian visual arts is influenced by these people, by these different styles, and of course our original Indian style is very precious and it is very versatile. So we have already discussed that. Moving ahead, we are going to today discuss about the performing arts, which mainly includes the music and dance forms, which are further classified into classical and traditional styles. Here the concept of classical and traditional is similar to that of visual arts, which we have already discussed, somewhat similar. Like traditional forms are those which are carried forward uh, from our in ancestors, so that is generally spontaneous and is very typical belonging to that particular area, whereas classical are the specified ones which have a different set of rules which have to be followed necessarily, and therefore they are very it needs a continuous prolonged practice for the perfection in those fields. Moving ahead further, we are going to also discuss about art, applied art, and the professional opportunities available in this field relating to history and Indian arts or history and the arts. So let us begin with our or rather let us continue with our chapter, and let us move ahead to the Indian tradition of performing arts. Let us see what is performing arts, and also we will discuss the Indian tradition of this performing arts. So children, we will begin with page number 28, 4.3, Indian tradition of performing arts. Tradition of performing folk arts. India has independent and varied traditions of folk songs, folk instrumental music, folk dances, and folk theatre, which are characteristic of every popular region. There exist many rich traditions of performing folk arts in Maharashtra also. They developed as an integral part of the religious festivals and social life. To name a few as examples, we may mention Koli dance, Tarpa dance, Dashavatar of Konkan, Povada, Kirtan, Jagar Gondhal, etc. So here we can see that there are so many traditional forms of folk art which come from quite many years back, which date many years back, and as there are many traditional forms of in different regions, similarly we can see that there exists a rich tradition of traditional performing arts in Maharashtra as well. The most important or most prominent folk dances of Maharashtra are can be named as Koli dance, Tarpa dance, then the Dashavatar of Konkan region, then Povadas, Kirtans, Povadas dating to Shivaji's age, the were mostly dominated by the um, glory, describing the glory of Shivaji or his um, uh, war skills were described in the Povadas. Uh, there are many other Povadas also which we have seen in the last chapter as well. Then there kirtans which say or tell so much about the it is more related to mythology, and then Jagar Gondal is also related to mythology, wherein these are the praises of the deities which we worship. So Maharashtra also has a very rich culture of as far as traditional performing art is considered. Traditions of classical performing arts. India has a rich heritage of classical performing arts too. The text of Natya Shastra, written by Bharat Muni, is supposed to be the earliest one discussing music and theatre. The nine moods, that is nine rasas. Children, please pay attention because these nine rasas also can be asked as complete the web. It can be included in the web, wherein you can be told to write any four or any five of them. So it is very important, and you can uh, score 2 marks out of it if this question comes. So please learn these rasas at least. So the text of the nine moods, that is nine rasas, supposed to be fundamental in the presentation of Indian performing arts are Shringara, that is love, Hasya, humor, Vibhatsa, repulsion, Raudra, that is terrible, Karuna, sad, Veer, heroic, Bhayanak, fearful, Adbhut, wondrous, and Shanta, that is peaceful. So these are the nine rasas or nine moods which are expressed in the classical performing arts. Now these the heritage of classical arts is very old, uh, and the text of Natya Shastra was written by Bharat Muni, and it is supposed to be the earliest one which has discussed music and theatre. Indian people come into contact with cultural traditions of other nations, and that resulted into blending of many different streams in the presentation of Indian performing arts, enriching them over time. As a result, many styles of presenting of classical vocal music, instrumental music, and dance came into existence. Various schools preserving those styles were also created. So now Indian people came into contact. In the earlier part of this chapter, we have also seen that there were influences of many different styles in our architecture and in our painting as well. Similarly, in our dance and music also, we have lots of influence of or blending of many different streams in the presentation. So and that is how the Indian arts has enriched itself time and over, and therefore many styles of presenting of classical vocal music, instrumental music, and dance came into existence. Now vocal music is singing, instrumental is playing instruments, and dance performances, you all know, that can be uh, any type of classical or traditional dance. Then we also know that there is fusion. The latest version of Indian dance, you can say, is a fusion of Indian classical dance and also of Indian sorry, or Western dance. They are merged, or fusion is done. And like English songs are also performed in Indian style, and Indian dances are performed, or Indian music, Western dances are also performed. So that is a very good fusion, or that is a very good example of uh, this enriching the performance over time, depending upon the need of the hour. So as so various schools preserving those styles were also created. There were various schools who were preserving these styles of dance and music and instrumental playing. There are two main branches of the Indian classical music, that is the Hindustani music and the Carnatic music. Now this basically there are two types of Indian classical music. One is Hindustani classical music, and the other is Carnatic classical music. Similarly, there are two forms in it, that is classical, Shastriya, and semi-classical, Upashastriya. And semi-classical has included many styles of folk music. So different styles, types of folk musics are included into semi-classical or Upashastriya type of classical music. A beautiful blend of all three forms of music, that is vocal, instrumental and dance, can be seen in various Indian classical dance forms like Kathak of North India, Lavani of Maharashtra, Odissi of Orissa, Bharatnatyam of Tamil Nadu, and Kathakali and Mohiniyattam of Kerala. Again, children, this paragraph or these dance forms belonging to different parts of our country are very important as far as web is concerned. There is a question which is quite frequently asked in the board exams relating to this classical dance and stating the states and the dance forms which are popular in those states. So it is again very important, you should learn them by heart. So we can see there is a blend of three forms of performing art, that is vocal, instrumental and the dance forms. We will first read this yellow box. The ruler of Bijapur, Ibrahim Adil Shah II, wrote a text in Dakhini Urdu language entitled Kitab in Navras. In this text is about Indian classical music. It includes verses sung in the Drupad style and enables the audience to enables the joy of excellent poetry. Dr. Arun Prabhune has entitled this text in Marathi. Has edited this text in Marathi. The translation of the verse printed on the cover of this text reads as follows. So the ruler of Bijapur, that is Ibrahim Adil Shah II, wrote a text in Urdu language, Dakhini, Urdu language, and it was entitled, it was named as Kitab-e-Navras. In this text was about Indian classical music, and it included verses sung in the Drupad style and enables the audience to experience the joy of excellent poetry. So, excellent poetry can be heard in the Drupad style, and these verses were included in this book written Kitab e Navras, written by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. Now, this text or this excellent poetries were edited in Marathi by Dr. Arun Prabhune, and the translation of these verses was printed on the cover page of this book, which was published, has the following verse printed on its cover page. It reads, O Mother Saraswati, you are the divine light in the world and you are complete with all qualities. If Ibrahim receives your grace, that is blessings, the poetry of the Navras will become eternal. As these verses were written by Ibrahim Adil Shah II, therefore he praises Lord Saraswati, Mother Saraswati, and he says that if your divine light, you are the divine light in the world and you are complete with all the qualities, you have all the qualities in you. It is praising the Lord. And if Ibrahim receives your grace, or if Ibrahim receives your blessings or your grace, the poetry of the Navras will become eternal. It will be very complete, it will be very great. That is what was written by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. Here you can see, children, pictures of Lavani, which is a Maharashtrian style of dance form, and also you can see a picture of Kathakali, which is a very famous dance form of Kerala. In India, in the post-independence period, various festivals of music and dance are organized with a view to make it accessible to common people. Many people attend these festivals, including Indian and foreigners alike. The Savai Gandharva festival of Pune is a famous one. Now, in India, after the independence, that is the post-independence period, various festivals of music and dance are organized with the intention that it should be accessible, or it should be presented, or should be available for the people to visualize it, to see it, to enjoy it, not only to the for the include for the Indians, but also for the foreigners. And Savai Gandharva festival, this is a very big, or very well known, or very can say prestigious music performance. All big musicians, or all big singers participate in this Savai Gandharva festival, and it is in held in Pune, and it is very very famous. Lately, we can see an inclination towards experimenting and creating fusion of various music styles by trying to overcome the limitations imposed by a traditional style or school. Pandit Uday Shankar is a prominent name among such artists who created a new style. He successfully created a fusion of Indian classical dance and European opera. Now we can see that there were, as development took place, as the years passed by, and there was globalization, so we can see that there were many styles which were included in the Indian styles, or there were experiments done with by doing fusions with Indians and Indian styles and other styles. Similarly, there this Pandit Uday Shankar, he was this was a very prominent name because he was the one who has successfully created a fusion of Indian classical dance and European opera. Now, Indian classical dances are very famous as well, and the European opera is also very famous. Also, sorry, he also included various forms of folk dances in his style. Now, the fusion was not only of Indian classical dances and the European opera, but also it was including the various folk dances also in various styles of folk dances in his fusion as well. Thus, the scope of the presentation of Indian performing arts seems to be constantly expanding. The same phenomena um, is apparent in the field of Indian visual arts. Now there were lots of experimentation in the field of classical music, uh, traditional music, classical dance, traditional dance forms, and different Western dance forms as well. So the experimentation was basically the fusion or merging two styles or two or more styles together to have better effect and a very different experience as well. So uh, this was about the traditional and classical dance and music and instrument performance performation. Let's move ahead to 4.4, art, applied art and professional opportunities. Art. Art history is an independent branch of knowledge. Various opportunities of research are available in this field. We are not only discussing about art, which we have already discussed, but we are now going to discuss about the art history. So this is about the art right from the olden ages up to the date. So this is this has different branches. This is a very independent branch of knowledge wherein art history is a subject in itself, and various opportunities of research are available in this field. So let us see what are the application of this art history for these people who study art history. First, art historians can work in the field of journalism. Now we can see we will be learning about this in details, wherein we have a chapter based on this topic, and there we'll come to know, or there you'll be able to understand how journalism is connected to art history. Now, so many times old paintings or old sculptures, old museums, or old monuments are discovered during excavation or during so many times they are discovered, and when they are discovered, a detailed or thorough study about it is very important. And that time, this uh, art historians are very important. Now in the field of journalism, when there are so many times columns in the newspaper, like on this day 10 years back what happened, 100 years back what happened, or on this day uh, 50 years back what happened. So the knowledge of what happened 50 years back, 100 years back, 10 years back, or before the current date, whatever has happened, the study of that is related to history, and therefore that is how journalism is also an can be a field for art historians. If they have the knowledge of art, so they can put their knowledge to this field of journalism. Second point, art market is an independent field. It calls for special expertise to assess the exact value of an art object to ensure that it is genuine. An expert with deep understanding of art history is required for this task. Now, the people who have studied his art history have the thorough knowledge of what particular art, to be very authentic or to be very real, what it takes to be the real art. So whenever something is discovered or something new is found, it is very important that these art historians play a very major role, very important role in certifying those art objects, like whether they are really genuine, whether they are really true. And when they are not only their expertise is needed to identify whether they are true or genuine or not. For accessing or assessing their value, exact value, their worth, also the art experts are needed. Third point, heritage management and cultural tourism are recently developed fields. In these fields, students of art can find many professional opportunities. Museums and archives management, library science and information technology, archaeological research, Indology are some important fields in this regard. So, heritage management and cultural tourism are the new fields which have come up quite lately. So, the people who are art historians or who have deep knowledge of history relating to arts can have a very good opportunities in the field of museums, because when we go to the museums we need that someone should explain to us what these particular things relate to, or where they were used by whom, when they were used, how they were used. Also, when the museums are maintained, or not only museums but museums, archives, where when these are maintained, also the art, the knowledge of history is very very important, so that they can be stored properly, placed properly in the correct sequence which is required, and which can help us get the thing or book or any object when it is needed. So also library science and information technology, there also depending upon the history, uh, the people with knowledge of history is very much important. Similarly, archaeological research, Indology, also some are these some important fields wherein the knowledge of history is very very important, or the people who have a good knowledge of history, or who have the professional knowledge of history, who have studied history in quite details, are needed, so that the archaeological research is always finding things which are buried under the soil. So these are all very historical, with very great historical importance, and they are very to be handled with in a specific way. So it is very important that the person who has taken education or who has studied archaeology should be hired for such types of jobs. Now, applied art. The visual and performing arts are primarily looked upon as the main as the means of entertainment for people. The artist performs primarily with this purpose. However, there is a scope to combine an artistic creation with utility value to make it economically viable. Thus, an artistic creation with a utilitarian purpose is called applied art. Now, we have seen that the visual arts and the performing arts are basically looked upon as the uh, are rather performed or rather displayed for the entertainment of the for the people. But if this is also value added, if there is some value added to this, it can be a very beautiful creation. Like nowadays we can see that the dance performances, the music performances, or even the art galleries, if we visit for seeing the drawings, paintings, sculptures, or to listen a musical program or see a dance program, we have to pay some tickets. So out of that, the out of those tickets, we when we pay we get some entertainment, and when we pay, the artists also gets um, some economical support with that. So we can say that their worth is also given an economical support. So their hard work, their knowledge, and their experimentation is given a worth of money as well, so that it is when this artistic creation, any type of artistic creation is given with a utility purpose, then utilized for a purpose, then it becomes an applied art. Industry and advertisement, interior design and production of ornamental object, art design of stage backdrops, Nepethya, art direction for films and television, creating attractive layouts of books, magazines, calligraphy, production of greeting cards, invitation cards, customized stationery, gift objects, etc. are the fields of applied art. See, we can't even imagine that art can be an applied art in so many different ways. When we buy greeting cards, we never thought that a person who is very good at that can be paid in the form of salary or in the form of royalty if he is doing that job very nicely. The layouts of the books, of the magazines, the calligraphy, or invitation cards, they are designed so nicely, and people having these talents and having these calibers are paid a very good amount of money or very good salary if they are doing so very nicely. So we if we are interested in the field of history and art, we have a very bright future, and we are these are the available fields wherein we can um, have a very good we can say field wherein we can earn a very good salary or very good money in the form of profit as well. The field of architecture, photography are also a part of applied arts. Nowadays, still and animated graphics created with the help of computers are used for various purposes. This is also applied art. Ornaments, artistic creations of metals, earthen pots with colorful designs, objects made from cane and bamboo, beautiful glass objects, attractive textiles and clothing, etc. all can be listed under applied art. We can also see that so many differently designed garments, or rather cloth prints on that, then different jewelry ornaments which are artistically created. So um, so many times, Varli art is used in that. So many times some Persian style is used in that. So the knowledge of these arts dating back to the history is very important, especially in the field of television or films. If the movie or if the particular serial is related to any historical age, then the uh, jewelry, the clothes, the things used by them, the monuments you can say, or the palaces, all this should resemble to that era. should resemble to that time. So it should give a feel that this serial really belongs to that time. So all these things, the background which is given, all this should resemble to that time, and therefore the knowledge of history pertaining to that particular era is very important, uh, while should be considered while considering the backdrops, the what do you call, location, the jewelry, the costumes, the hairstyles, then so many things which are used in the during the movie or during the serial. So every field mentioned above requires a detailed planning and meticulous management at every stage of production. It is essential to employ trained and skilled individuals at every stage. Some of the production processes of artistic objects have a history of certain traditions. The development of each productive process has its own history. Hence, the syllabi of training courses of art design include the history of various industrial and cultural traditions. Now, even if you choose the field of art, in the field of art also they definitely do teach you to draw, paint, and product designing and all that stuff as well. But at these in these courses, all these courses, the history of the that particular art is also important. For example, if you are learning music, still in the theory you have the you have the classical origin, or who wrote the book, what is written in that. Even in the dance form, classical dance forms also, the book Natya Shastra, that gives you all the details about what are the uh, prerequisites, or so many things are given in detail, and the study of that history of that particular art is also a very important part of the syllabus of that particular art form. That is because that is needed, this knowledge of history is needed, pertaining to that subject is needed, if we choose a field in that particular field. There are few institutions in India which offer technical and occupational training in the above mentioned fields. Among them, National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, is a world renowned institute. This institute has introduced an online course since 2015. Now, there are very few institutions in India which offer technical and occupational training in the above mentioned field. Uh, like for this graphic designing, then animation, ornamentalist. So there are so many different people needed, and the expertise of these people is also needed if while the production of these things. So if a serial of like Tipu Sultan, or Madhavrao Peshwe, or based on Shivaji's life, if such types of serials are to be made, or movies are to be made, then their knowledge is very important, and that, like only a person who has a knowledge of history is needed. It's not like that. It is like the detailed knowledge of that particular field. So there is a person for costume designing, there is a separate person for the backdrops, there is a separate person for stage or you can say the location designing, or there is a special person for the jewelry designing. So many expertise in their fields are required when while making of a particular serial or a movie. So there is a very wide scope, and there are very few institutions in India who offer the technical and occupational fields or training in the above fields. So there are very less institutions who provide knowledge or courses in the above fields, like animated graphics, then aesthetics management, designing of jewelry, earthen pots. So one amongst the leading fields or the leading colleges or university is the National Institute of Design, which is located in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, and is a world renowned institute. So this institution has also started online courses since 2015. In the next lesson we will learn about mass media and history. So journalism, wherein I was talking about, so you will be able to learn more about how journalism is a very important field, or you can choose journalism. If you choose journalism, the knowledge of history is also important in journalism as well. How that is important, that we will be able to learn or understand in the next chapter, that is mass media and history. Okay, I hope you must have understood this lesson very well, which we have finished history and Indian arts. And I think, if you have any queries or if you do not understand, you can always contact me or ask me on, you can WhatsApp me. We have finished with this lesson as well. So we have completed 4 lessons of history and 1 lesson of political science by now. And the activities of this lesson, which are given on page number 31, I'll be sending you in a short time. And whatever I am giving you, may it be the textual questions or may it be the extra questions, you have to write it down in your notebook and complete your notebooks in time. Also start learning the answers, because you never know, because further things are not very clear. It was always better to be very well prepared. So start learning so that you are not stressed at the last moment. Learn the answers, revise them time and again, and always be prepared and be ready. Do take good care of yourself, stay safe and stay happy.